Hello, and welcome to the Keys to Success. It is your girl, Miss Lee, full-time real estate entrepreneur and success coach here at the Keys to Success show. Today, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Mr. Marcus Merritt. Marcus, thank you so much for being on the show today. I know it is when you're putting together shows like this, but we make it happen, and that's, again, one of the keys to success. So I want to thank you for taking the time out to be on the show today. You are a full-time investor, you do new constructions, you do building, and you're also a social media marketing expert. Please take a moment to introduce yourself to our viewers, and thank you again so very much for being on the show.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Like as she said, my name is Marcus Merritt. I've been a real estate investor here in the Atlanta market for about 3.5 years. Focusing right now on new construction, just finished my 17th project. And about 18 months ago, I also started a social media marketing company. Originally just with a couple of friends that were investors as clients as well. That just grew to now about 25 clients, that range from real estate professionals to small business. So that's kind of everything that I do encompassed.
Awesome. And we had a little, the internet connection broke up just a little bit, so I didn't hear a bit of that. Are you an agent as well, or are you just an investor? We are having some technical difficulties with Marcus, but hopefully we will have him back on the line shortly. I'm not sure if you guys can hear him on that end, but I'm not able to hear him on this end. Marcus, are you there? Can you hear me, sir? Are you there, Marcus? I know I can see you, but I can't hear you. Are you there, sir? Can you hear me? Internet sometimes gives you such trouble.
Hello? No, just an investor, not an agent. I don't think I want to deal with. Yes, can you hear me? I can.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit. I can, so it's on this end, it seems like it's a little broken up, but you can hear me.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Are you there? Hopefully you guys on the other end can hear us. Of course, you know, when we're going live, there's always technical difficulties. So hopefully
Perfect. I'm just checking my settings to make sure everything's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be on this, and I'm not really sure. So you said you're not an agent, just an investor. How did you get into real estate investing initially? Hello? Yeah, I think we may have lost him. And let's see right here. I think we may have lost him, so we'll give him a moment to tune back in again. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into the show today. On the Keys to Success show, we interview local business professionals, entrepreneurs to discuss some of their keys to success in their business and in their life. Guys, we have some really awesome things coming to you very soon. A new show that's coming out. I'm not going to drop too much information on it, but stay tuned. We do have a new show. It is real estate based, and I'm really excited to bring that show to you all. Hopefully Marcus will join us back here in just a moment. Internet, I know lately has been not that great, but with storms and all of that kind of stuff that goes on, it happens at times. So hopefully Marcus will jump back on and we'll get to hear some of his keys to success in business and in life. In the meantime, I want to thank my viewers so very much for tuning in. And thank you guys for watching. Every Tuesday, Thursday, 12 noon, we have you guys in the air. Marcus, are you there? And I think we've got Marcus back. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So yeah, we lost you there for a moment. I'm not quite sure if it's the internet connection, but we were just I was going over how did you start
Okay,
getting.
good.
Mhm. Oh,
I can. There's a
hold on one moment. Let's see.
site.
Say that again, sir. Marcus is frozen on this end. Uh, hold 1 second. All righty. While Marcus gets the internet and everything in order, like I was saying, we have a new show coming out. I'm super excited to bring you guys that show. I'm not going to drop too much information on it, but it is going to be amazing. Of course, it is real estate based. I am just excited about putting together all of the details on it, putting together all the scripts on it. So definitely stay tuned for that. Hopefully, we will be able to get Marcus Merritt back on here shortly and have him get into some of his keys to success in his business and in his life. And in the meantime, do you guys have any question for us? Any questions for myself? Jeffrey, thank you so very much for tuning in. Um, yes, it will. Yes. Hold on 1 second. As you guys know, at times there are technical difficulties. That's just the name of the game, but we keep moving forward no matter what. In the meantime, I want to go over some of the things that I've been working on when it comes to success and success principles. I have been really like reconnecting with the book Think and Grow Rich. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever read the book Think and Grow Rich, but Napoleon Hill, he's the author of that book, and it is an absolutely phenomenal book, especially if there's any specific goals that you're looking to achieve in your life. So as of right now, that's a book that I'm reading, and I'm taking it 100% serious, implementing every single step within that book. So I challenge you all to grab your copy of Think and Grow Rich in paperback as well as on Audibles, and check it out and tell me a little bit about your journey and what you're learning about yourself when you start reading the book. But I know for myself, it has been an amazing journey. I started again reading it last Friday, and ever since I picked it up, it has been amazing. Our team, we're doing some really crazy things. So just super excited to see where it takes us um, with all of the cool things that are happening. Marcus, we have you back.
Okay,
Yes,
is this better?
110%.
Okay, my laptop didn't like me today. It was like, you know what, we're just not gonna work. So we're
Right. No, it's quite all right. Yeah, on the phone, it sometimes works so much better. Everything it's super clear, so you're 100% on point. Thank you again so much for being on the show. So what I was asking was, were you an agent or are you just an investor?
no. So I just invest. I think you were asking like roughly how I got started. So about 2.5 years ago, I have a friend of mine that was already in real estate investing.
Mhm.
Um, on projects, roughly about 8,500 short to finish this project up, and he was like, you really should invest some money and help me out, and I really think this is something you might be interested in. And I'm checking my bank account. I have like $8,800 in my savings, like all the money I have left.
Right.
Give you all this money, and if it doesn't work out, I'm be eating ramen noodles for the rest of my life. So
Right.
gotta go one way or the other. uh,
Right.
and it was one of those projects where it was supposed to be 3 weeks to finish. It ended up being 2 months.
Wow.
um, we end up still going a few more $1,000 over budget. But as soon as we listed it, the first day we got 12 offers.
Wow.
We
That's
actually
amazing.
ended up going 24,000 over asking. So
Wow. So from that point, you've seen, hey, I invested 8,000. It did take a little bit longer, but look at the absolute aftermath of what you put together. So from that point, you started and you said, hey, I'm all in. Let me check out this real estate stuff.
I did. I was like, okay, I kind of like this.
Awesome. And on that first project, did you have to actually get involved in it, or was it just your money in the deal and you just kind of watched from afar?
So I'd probably say the first 10 projects that I
Mhm.
did, I was very not as hands-on, you know? I'll be honest, for me, I never thought about real estate investing as something I'd be interested in because I don't like being outside. I don't like working with my hands. I'm
Wow.
not like physical in that sense. I'd rather do something mental, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so I never thought that'd be something I'd be interested in. But
Wow.
going along and kind of seeing the whole process, for me really made me more interested in it. So now I am more involved, and I project manage all of my projects now, and I've learned so much about the construction side of it. So
Wow. And I know you were saying that you just purchased some land and you've actually just completed your first new construction.
yes,
So you jumped all in. You
I,
said, "Hey, let me try, I don't like being outside, but let me try something that's just, that's a lot of work."
it is. It definitely is.
Mhm.
Like stressful, of course, because there's so many variables with doing new construction, and ours was like actually a high end modern build.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
So, price point's a little bit higher as well. So it's the highest price point I'd ever been at too. Which obviously raises some challenges, especially right now during COVID. But I'm definitely all about that. I like that aspect of it.
Mhm.
I like new construction just because I do think once you understand it, price points as far as materials and such go, you can control that cost a little bit better.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited to do more of those.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure with the new construction, unlike when you're doing a rehab, there's so many different surprises. You never know what's going on under the roof or, in the floors or anything like that. But when you're building it from the ground up, you know the quality of your product. You know that you have something good and you know what you're putting into it. So there's no surprises for the homeowner. Or-
I
Yeah, that's amazing stuff. And I know you mentioned that you have a partner, Nicole, who also works with you on all of your projects. Did she always work with you on your projects? And how important is partnership when it comes to real estate investing and building?
So me and Nicole have been friends for about 3 years now, right? Kind of right when I got started in real estate investing. We met at a networking event one night and honestly got really drunk on some wine because it was boring.
It's
And
awesome.
we just clicked, we just sat and talked and kind of, went back and forth. And so we'd always been friendly, and I know that she was always big in investing in East Point. I was a little bit nervous just because me as an investor, I've heard the stories from other investors that have invested in East Point, and they're just like, stay away.
Right.
So that was kind of my mindset. So I guess about maybe 18 months ago, I ended up meeting her out at a project in East Point
Mhm.
that she was working on, and I was like, wow, like you're doing some really good work out here. Like we should do something together. And she was like, yeah, I've been waiting for you. Like you just didn't want to come to East Point.
Right. Ever since
um,
the wine, what happened?
And to kind of further on what you said, partnership is really important. I
Right.
think everybody has strengths and weaknesses that they can bring to the table.
Mhm.
And obviously, if you're partnering with somebody, you're able to kind of highlight either or, and really just hone in on what's going to make your business better. I'm all about collaboration, no competition. Like, I don't feel like I'm competing with other investors or other people in the Atlanta market. I'd rather work with you, and we can all kind of grow together. So that's always been my whole motto.
That's awesome. Super important stuff. And so you said now you've been focusing on the East Point area. Are there any other areas that you steer away from? And if so, why?
Um, I mean, for me, I live in Decatur area, so I don't want to travel too far away from my rehabs. I
Yeah.
did one in Smyrna a year and a half ago, and I said never again because it took over an hour to get there every day. Sometimes 2 hours with traffic,
Oh, wow.
and that's too long to drive, when you have a project going on, especially if an emergency or something were to come up. I always even tell new investors, if you're in an area, only go like 10 to 15 miles out from where you live
There you-
and start there because you don't want to go too far away where if something were to happen, it takes you a long time to get there. So,
Right. Even if you have a project manager, you wouldn't advise it. Don't travel. Don't get it so far away from where you are.
well, yeah, I mean, for me, I am the project manager. So
Oh,
I manage all projects. I actually manage projects for other investors sometimes. So that's why I stress that. Because like you said, I mean, you don't want anything to go missed or
Right.
any emergencies to happen and you're unable to get there as soon as possible. I had an instance, I guess, where a lockbox code got changed
Mhm.
and the contractor couldn't get in, and it took me 2.5 hours to get there. And by the time I got there, he had left. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
blame you because I wouldn't want to wait 2.5 hours and July heat, wait
Right.
waiting on a lockbox code. So it's I think it's things like that that just make me realize, for me at least, I want to stay as close in the Metro Atlanta area as possible.
Mhm.
But we really like East Point though, because I think it's a area that's been kind of underdeveloped, unrecognized. A lot of investors, as I've said, have said they've had difficulty there.
Right.
But I think there can be a lot of growth. I think there's a lot of money to be made, and you can buy land and properties for a lot cheaper than you can in Atlanta.
Wow.
And I don't want to compete with everybody's in Atlanta. So it's like,
Right.
make your own lane. That's all I'm about.
Right. I love it. That's great advice. So, initially, prior to getting into real estate investing, what were you doing for an occupation? What was your job?
Oh, so I went to school for marketing. So, but I didn't use it at all. you know,
Okay.
like, it's one of those things, after you get it and then you're getting job offers for 35 and 40,000, you're like, no. So I bartended all through college. So I just continued to keep bartending and worked at a couple different places. The money was good, the schedule was flexible. Uh,
Mhm.
but I knew in the back of my head, I was like, this is not what I want to do forever. So,
Mhm. Well, that's awesome. And so from that point, transitioned into the real estate investing. Now,
yeah.
tell us a little bit. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, up until about, yeah, maybe 9, 10 months ago, I was still bartending full time.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was so stressful sometimes, especially at the beginning. When I was taking on more projects, I was working 4 or 5 days a week and splitting my time also investing, up till 2 a.m. in the morning, sometimes just following up because I'm like, all right, tomorrow I got a bartend, but I need to make sure all of my clients are good. I mean, I've been at the bar answering phones from contractors like, hey, can you answer this?
Right.
And so I finally just, at about 9, 10 months ago, I was like, you know what, you just got to go all in. So.
And that's what I was going to ask you. What would your advice be to someone who's working a job and considering getting into real estate or trying to build their real estate business? Would you say go all in?
Well, I tell them make the decision when it's smart.
Okay.
So I don't ever want people to feel like you can do both, because
Right.
I know so many investors that are successful that work full time jobs that you probably wouldn't even realize. You're like, really, you work a full time job,
Right.
and they're in 4 or 5 projects right now. So if that works for you, that works for you. Depending on if you have a family and your specific needs, I guess. But if you feel like for you working for somebody else is not your goal and you really want to be your own boss and be self sufficient, then
Right.
really put those steps in place so that it can happen. Put a timeline in, because that's one of the biggest things. If you don't put a timeline in, you'll never follow it. And that was me. I'll be honest. Every year I was like, this is my last year working. And then I'll be like, well, let me 6 more months, and then
Right.
I finally just had to like lay the hammer down. So sometimes you have to kind of do that and just jump in, but make sure it makes sense for you. So
Wow, that's yeah, and that's important advice. Make sure it makes sense, so and set out that time frame, and then say, okay, I'm all in from that point forward. That's phenomenal advice. So, besides that, I know that you're a marketing specialist. Tell us a little bit about what a because you went to college for marketing, and now you're implementing that in your real estate business as well. Or tell us a little bit about how that works.
yeah, so I think when I first got started, I think that was the biggest thing for me, as I was obviously have a background in marketing, so I was like, I want to make sure that's set up correctly.
Right.
And once I started implementing, specifically my marketing online, so social media,
Right.
started seeing a great return on it. Within the first 7 months of me really going in real estate, I had already connected with two private money lenders out of state, and also done 2 virtual wholesale deals. So I was like, this is like, social media is really where the presence is, and I tell people all the time, I've spent money on all the other forms of marketing for real estate people. I've done driving for dollars. I've done mailers. I spent $3,800 one month just in mailers and
Wow.
got no returns. I've done bandit signs. I've done yellow letters. Like I've done everything, the whole synopsis of everything real estate marketing.
Right.
And the best return that I've ever seen is social media.
Wow.
Um, and I tell people, I mean, it's free to start a Facebook or Instagram business page. So why would you want to utilize that to grow your business? I started off just helping a couple of other investors that I was friends with.
Right.
Just kind of helping them get set up. I think actually, no joke, I think I charged them like $99 the first
Wow.
like penny.
That's
Then
amazing.
once I saw that this was like, okay, this could be a business too, let me put
That's
my
great.
entrepreneur hat on,
Right.
uh, and really get everything kind of outlined. And so then that's when I really put the company together, 3M Marketing and Acquisitions. Um, and so that's kind of what I focus on is real estate professionals and small business owners, and just really helping them grow their business
Right.
using social media platforms. So
Wow. That is amazing. And I had no idea. So I'm definitely going to need to connect with you. We were connected with Amanda, and big shout out to Amanda Clark for putting us together. But she has spoken so highly of you with your marketing background and real estate and everything like that. So I'm super excited to speak further with you about that and just the marketing aspect of it. Because, like you said, social media is so important. And a lot of people say, well, social media and what about real life? Social media is real life. Like we are real people on social media having a conversation. So it's like, don't make it too complex. Your life, so many people and a lot of business professionals are on social, and you can really do well with that if you know how to use it and you connect with the right people who are using it correctly.
yeah, and I mean, you have to think too. We're always about wanting to move forward.
Right,
And me, I'm still a millennial, but obviously I'm getting older, so
right,
I want to stay with the trends and the times, and I don't want to get left behind in
right,
any way, especially now in my business. So if people are connecting on Instagram, that's where I need to be. If people are doing more business to business connections on LinkedIn, and that's where I need to be. If people are just sitting at home for 2 hours watching YouTube videos, then that's where I need to be. Uh,
right,
that's where I tell people you have to kind of put your finger on the pulse of where people are connecting now. For me, what I've seen is mailers and things like that for real estate professionals, they aren't connecting. I literally had a lady tell me one time, I got your postcard, but I also got 17 others within a week. So what's different between you than these other 17 people? And
right,
so now I have to try to sell myself to get her to maybe do a deal with me. It's like, why wouldn't I want to just connect with her on social media using other channels that she might not even know we're connected? And she sees the ad I did, or, I do a specialty list that reaches out to her specifically through Messenger or something. There's so many different ways. Uh,
right.
that you can connect with people that way. And it's like, okay, now I've probably used less time and less money. That's the biggest thing, especially if you're starting out,
Wow.
uh, and connecting with them on that platform. So that's why I like social media. So.
Wow. And I think it's really important with the fact that you said you went to college for marketing, and even though you started out looking for a job, they offered you 35,000, and you said, "Let me put my entrepreneur hat on. Let me get creative." And so now you've taken your degree and you've created more income. You've created that extra stream, and you've seen a need and a void in the market, and you're like, "Let's fill it by helping these entrepreneurs in other areas," because a lot of people are told, get your yellow letters, get your bandit signs, do all of these things. But there's hundreds of them all over the ground, so it may become a little overwhelming for the seller and for the client.
I agree. And I really do attribute that to real estate investing because
Yeah,
before that, I think I've always wanted to be some type of business owner. I
right,
back in college, I was like, I want to open my own restaurant or my own bar or something, you know? So I think I always kind of had it in the back of my head, but never just verbalized it or really put it into action. So
Right.
getting into real estate really made me an entrepreneur because now I look at so many things with a business mind. And I'm always like, oh, that's a great business or that's a good opportunity or this, you know, and
Right. That's super awesome. Yeah, real estate investing is amazing. Real estate, being a real estate entrepreneur is absolutely an amazing lane to be in. And you're making a difference in the community, adding value, building new properties. So yeah, absolutely awesome stuff. How can our viewers, if they wanted to connect with you on the marketing, what would be the best way for them to get a hold of you? I know I see a phone number behind you. The
yeah,
number there.
face nobody can see, but no, so you can definitely obviously connect with me on all the social media sites. My company's at 3M Marketing LLC, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Feel free to email me directly as well, Marcus at 3mmarketingllc.com. And I like to do free consultations with all new clients. So that gives me a chance to really understand what your needs are best, and really convey that to my team to make sure that we're correctly meeting your needs because everybody's different, you know, and so that's why I like to really take that time and really let them know that we want to do what's best for you. And then also you feel more comfortable with me. So
Right. That's awesome stuff. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your afternoon to be on the Keys to Success show. Before I let you go, I want to find out what are some of your keys to your success? What has made Marcus successful in business? What has made you not give up and continue to pursue forward and trying new things and not just stay at the bar and just say, okay, this is the only job? What is that thing inside of you that said, let me strive for something else? Even though working as a bartender is awesome, it is an awesome job. Okay. So what made you say, I want to try something different? I want to open a bar. I want to do this. I want to get into real estate. What is that thing?
I think for me it was a couple different things. I think generational wealth. I know people have spoken about that before, but that's really important to me.
Right.
Before, you know, my mom, you know, a lot of people in my family didn't own a home or they didn't, you know, have that thing where they're like, we can pass this down to our children and then our grandchildren. And I think for me, that's something really important that I want. When I leave, I want to leave a legacy for my family members to be able to have and be like, we have this, you know? And I
Right.
think a lot of times, especially as African Americans, we don't have those chances, you know, and we really, for me, that's a big thing is making sure that we're setting ourselves up and you know our future family members and such up for success at the beginning of their lives. You know, it shouldn't have to be like a struggle to get there. So I really feel like everything that I've tried to do over the last 3.5 years has been really to try to implement that. I really think my strength is really just connecting with people and just getting down to the nitty gritty. I'm a little blunt sometimes and just real, and I just say it like it is. And I'm kind of like, if you don't like it, oh well. But I feel like that's kind of the truth that people need sometimes. Uh,
Right.
and I feel like that's actually helped me more than hinder me, because people know I'm just gonna tell the truth, you know. So
Right. And a lot of times, I know for me, I listen to a lot of Grant Cardone and being into 10X, and that's like he's very, in your face and tell you how it is. But that's where the growth comes if you're willing to have that change, if you're willing to hear it and say, you know what, maybe I do need to do such and such or whatever, kind of having that, moment where you want to have that growth.
I agree, and that's one of the keys to success. You know, is just being you. I think a lot of times people forget that. I'm sure people want to work with you because they like you, they like your personality, they like your energy. They're all about, you know, they feel like you're professional. They like what you're about, and that's going to continue to bring you business. So I,
Right.
you know, people need to remember be you, and some people aren't going to like it, but more people are going to respect you for it. So.
Right. I love it. I love it. So be yourself and, just keep going. I love it. Well, Marcus, I want to thank you for taking time out of your afternoon to be interviewed on the Keys to Success show. I definitely look forward to connecting with you when it comes to marketing and definitely seeing some of your projects. Like I said, we have a lot of great things in store. you so much to our guests for tuning in today. Thank you, Glenn Glasper, Amanda Clark, Sean D, Anna, Israel, Chris Arthur, thank you so very much. Jefferson, thank you so very much for tuning in today. To all of our viewers. Until next time, make sure you guys tune in every Tuesday, Thursday, 12 noon on the Keys to Success show, where I interview local business professionals and entrepreneurs to discuss some of their keys to success in their business and in their life. Mr. Marcus Merritt, thank you, sir, so very much. And until next time, you have an absolutely amazing afternoon. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.